gecko lure. 2-piece, body, head, joint, lip coming off there somewhere, worm tail, and then for the legs, curly tail grubs coming off the sides for legs and arms. I think I might change my mind later on, but let's get started. Alright, the bait is mostly shaped out. So I'm gonna put a joint right here, one hook right here, and then a lip, because I don't think I need more than 2 hooks if I make them big enough. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make this a line through or not, or a wire through or not, because it's got like structural integrity of the bait isn't that great. So I feel like if I don't know, I'll think about it. Might not be able to put a joint in this bait. Maybe in the future we'll make a bigger one, bigger lizard bait, and give it a joint, but for now I think a single joint is our best bet. But now we need to draw our lines to carve around, and these ones are gonna be a little bit more complicated. I want to leave plenty of area around the eyes so that I can carve those out nicely. Maybe use a Dremel. I might have to use a Dremel, I don't know. I think the belly is gonna be like a normal. It's all gonna be the same. And then up top, it's a little more dramatic. What I noticed about when I was looking at pictures of geckos is that they're kind of flat on the top. So the sides don't need a lot of, the sides should be a pretty easy carve, but they got like a ridge on the back that's kind of flat, so I might have to make this a little deeper actually. I think I'm just gonna leave the head without putting any lines and just carve that after I get everything else done, because I feel like I'm gonna have to do a lot of like freehanding with this, and I might even go straight Dremel and just burn the spot that I want to keep out. I don't know what I'm saying. The eyes protrude off the side of the head, but there's some space in between a little bit. Actually, I might be able to just sand that. Well, I'll figure it out. I think I've got it mostly carved. I think I'm gonna sand the body completely smooth before I even start on the head, because the head's got some details that I need to carve in, and I think it'll be easier for my brain if the body's finished, so then I can just focus on the head and not have a bunch of unfinished stuff messing with my brain. So I'm gonna do that real quick off camera because it's boring, and I'll get right back to you guys. So I got the bait mostly carved out, mostly sanded out, I mean. Now I need to put a little indentation in the head right there. Geckos have like this, it's not like, there's a little dent in the head between the eyes. This isn't the one I'm doing. You can see that it's got like the eyes are raised from the head. Doing something like that, but not as pronounced because it's little, and I don't want to use the Dremel because I feel like that's cheating. So I get a file, because it's less like cheating. Put it right in between the eyes and just go back and forth with it. It looks kind of weird, but it's not sanded out yet, so once all the head's all shaped out and smooth, it'll look natural. This side's a little too deep. No, this side's a little bad. It's not the good side. But I mean, once we paint it, it'll be fine. It just doesn't look that great right now. That's the good side of the bait, right there. So, I guess next step is to sand it smooth and then add hardware and put lead in the bait. I think I can do not through wire, I think. I think this wood's plenty strong enough. I'm gonna sand this and I'll get back to you guys. So, bait is all sanded out. The mouth, smooth, looks pretty decent. I got this lip. It's a super thin circuit board lip. I'm gonna put in like right there, kind of an angle. I'm gonna make a harness to stick in there out of wire to hold whatever plastic we get for this. I'm either gonna get like a worm or a fluke to put on the back of here. I gotta see what the store has. I like that. It's not too big. It's not in there straight right now, but actually pretty straight lip. I think I'm gonna put it in there right now. Let that chill out for a minute and then we'll drill the hardware. Gotta clean that up. Put some super glue and baking soda in there, but pretty close to being done. I got a bunch of these screw lock things. Oh, dropped it. Screw lock things that I'm gonna use to put the legs and the tail on the bait. And I'm basically just gonna drill a hole inside of the bait and glue it in there. It's really bright. Sorry, got some new lights that I'm trying to learn how to use. I'm just gonna drill holes in the side of the bait, on the holes in the side. They're the width of this, and glue it in there like halfway. And then I can screw the curly tails on there, or whatever I use. So I changed my mind. For the front ones, I made some little like bait keeper hook things, like that. I'm just gonna glue this end into the bait. They're not gonna hold the weight of any fish. So I think it should be good. Just like that. I'll glue those in. And then the bottom one's the wood's thicker down here, so I can justify drilling a big hole down there. But the ones up top I wanted to stay on. Also, these are gonna probably have a little more stress on them, because that's where the hook's gonna be, down here. So if a fish bites it, these arms don't have as high a chance of getting snagged as these ones and getting ripped off. So these twisty things will hold it better. It's not perfect, but it's in there. This looks so weird. Like if you looked at that without knowing what we were making, you would not think that's a gecko. It's like some zombie Frankenstein thing. I don't know. Just making gecko lures. Now I can make that one longer because it's a longer worm tail. The tail's gonna be pretty long because geckos have pretty long tails. Decent sized lead hole there. I think it'll still float. Now we're just waiting on the lead pot. So I was looking at it and I didn't think it was enough weight. So I drilled 2 small holes because I want this to either suspend or do a real slow sink. Normally if you want a lure to dive and have like a crankbait action, you want the weight as close to the lip as you can get it. But on this one I couldn't put enough lead up here, so I had to put it farther back on the bait, which still would have floated, but it would also not have any action. But if I can make this like a slow sink or suspending, it'll still dive down because of the lip, and I'll be able to get it to stay down and make it do things by twitching the rod because I have the extra weight. Gave it the super glue bath. Let it dry the rest of the way and then sand it smooth. And then we'll be able to paint. Starting with white. Do a couple more coats and I'll show you what it looks like. So, this thing is not smooth. I thought that it was smooth, but I couldn't really tell, I guess. But it is not smooth. So we're gonna put a super thin UV clear coat on it and get it smooth. It's not even the top half, it's just the belly. It's messed up. Starting out with pearl lime green. I think we're gonna get the entire bait and then come back and do a white belly later. I'll be honest, I was hoping it'd look a little more like that. It's a different color green. It looks more yellow in that lighting. That actually looks green. That's like yellow. It's a little more green in person, but it'll work as a base. I'm gonna look at some pictures of some geckos and see what it is. I like the color. I'm not opposed to the color at all, but I might try to fade in with something else. I don't know. So a lot of these geckos have like red spots on their back and a little on their face. I don't know if I'm gonna do the face, but I might do some splotchy reds on the back of it. I don't know if I'm gonna hand brush it or airbrush it, because if I airbrush it, I feel like I might really screw it up. But I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I could just repaint it, I guess. I think I'm gonna dark green on the top, because a lot of them have that color on the belly, but the top is like just like a regular opaque green. I think if I lightly just go over, just do like a far away spray and just dust it lightly, that might give it like a natural look. And then I can come in with an airbrush, let it dry completely so that I don't like screw anything up, and then airbrush some little red stuff on it. I also got some of this stuff, but I think it's way too big. So, and these aren't really like super defined splotches on it. It's super like, they fade really nice into the rest of the color of the lizard. So I think I'm gonna airbrush without a stencil all the red, but first we're gonna do green. Brought it down a little bit on the flank. Got a little messy on this side and put a little dot. Focus. Put a little dot there, but I think you can hardly see it. I'm gonna let this dry all the way before I even start putting paint in this. I think I'm gonna clean this out completely while I'm waiting, just so I can let this have as much time to cool down as possible, and also I can get more accurate spray with this when it's cleaned out completely and real nice on the inside. So get back to you in a minute. I can't tell if it looks horrible or if it looks alright. I mean, it doesn't look horrible. It doesn't really look like red, I think, is the main problem. I'm gonna add some more red on the spots where I already sprayed it. See if I can make it a little more vivid, I guess. That's acceptable. That looks 1,000 times better. So now we're just gonna put some black by the mouth and then some black by the eye. I think we're just doing like little black eyes. I don't have any eyes that are that tiny, and actually I might. We'll see. We'll see. I think those blue ones right there would be perfect. Yeah, that was it. Really glad I didn't go with the black. That looks sweet. That's how the bait looks with the tail. I mean, the tail doesn't fit it. It's colored perfectly, but I mean, before we fish with it, I'll probably get some better tails, but this is good enough for now. I got a few options for legs, so I'm just gonna put them on and hold it up and show you and see what you think. Well, I guess not what you think, but what I think. All right. Yeah? I don't think so. I made it. It's got like the fingers and color coding. It just looks weird. Nah, that's not it. I got better ones. One sec. Maybe if I cut that. I'm gonna try that real quick. Don't worry, I'm not in California. It's fine. That looks a little better. And I like how they're always doing something, even though it looks ridiculous. Like, the fish might like that. You never know. A big old bass might like the legs. We're gonna try the other ones. Right now, these are the front runners right here. I also need something that looks half decent for the thumbnail, so I think these next ones are gonna do good. All right. These are clearly the best for the legs. I think I might cut it short and see, like cut the green in half and twist it on and see how good they stick out. And I might bend the twist locks too to just try to get the legs pointed down a little bit, because it just sticks out the sides too much. I think it's gonna look goofy no matter what until I get this tail, get the right kind of tail. But I just don't have anything else that would work. I think that's the winner right there. Still looks a little ridiculous, but I think it's normal enough, you know. The orange kind of goes with the red a little bit on the top, and also the black specks kind of give it some texture almost. Just this tail throws it off. Like if we take the tail off, it looks fine. We'll figure something out for the tail, but that is the bait right there. I'm gonna throw I got these really weird looking like Trapper Hooks is the brand. They got like a 90-degree corner in there that I'm gonna throw one on this thing. Comes in, gets hooked pretty good. I used a bigger split ring on the bottom to get it to hang a little lower in the bait. I think this might sink, which would be good because I can give it better action that way with all this plastic hanging off. I don't think it'll have a very good crank action. This is our finished bait. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.